What's up everyone? Andrew Oler with Dirt Rider here, and today we're testing a 2022 Yamaha YZ125 built by Jay Clark. Jay, this is an exciting build, man. Tell us about it.
Well, as you know, this is a really fun bike, and it got updated for 22, so that was really cool. And even though I'm too big for a 125, it's still really fun to ride. I like riding them. I don't like riding them against four-strokes, like if I was to go battle or you know, try to race one, but it's really fun to just ride, like especially in our hill tracks in the wintertime, or even like Glen Helen, you know, big open track. I really like riding a 125, and so it's really a blast. And the updates have really been good to this bike. You know, they switched the carburetor, did some internal engine changes, and the bike's a lot faster than it was. And then it looks really cool. They updated the look, and so that's really been fun. So on this motor, it's just real basic head mod from TMR, cleaned up. He makes sure the cylinder is good, and then JD jetting kit. That was a big help. And we can list out the jetting we used in it, but that was a big help for this thing. The stock jetting was pretty far off. So we got that. It comes with a V-Force reed cage, so we already have that. We have the torque drive from Recluse in there. And got our CV4 cap from Wiseco on the for the radiator, high pressure cap. And that's really the, with the FMF pipe and silencer, of course, that's our extent of our mods. I'm running like a C12 half and half fuel from VP. And that's the extent of our kind of engine mods. And then everything else to make it a little bit more comfy to ride with the factory connection to the suspension. We set it up a lot, you know, maybe stiffer for me and for being on a 125. So myself and Spencer likes riding these things too. And it's a blast. So factory connection to suspension. We got our ODI CFT bars on here with our lock-on grips, which are just amazing feeling. Works connection bits. Of course, got our Dunlop tires. We don't have an MX-14 on it. We have an MX-12. Still having this 100 size, so this thing's really going to be throwing up some roost today, and it's a blast. Got Pro X chain and sprockets. Oh, and of course, I'm sorry, one of the big things I mentioned, the biggest thing on this bike is the Wiseco. Wiseco developed a new piston for this bike. Early on, some of these bikes, some of the guys were having some ring issues and some cylinders, some damage to the pistons. We got this Wiseco piston in here and got quite a bit of time on two different ones that we were testing out, and it's been great. Okay, so some of the other really cool bits of this thing is it looks really cool. Decal Works came up with kind of a really cool looking retro graphic look for this thing that was kind of really cool and custom. Moto Seat did a seat cover, of course. We have a Lightspeed carbon ignition cover on there. Scar foot pegs, you know, gives you a really good footprint. A lot of the stuff, you know, isn't critical, but really fun to do. But of course, the major stuff was the engine and suspension, which was really nice. ICW strengthened up our radiators, put some added bracing in there to help us be a little bit stronger. If we do happen to fall over, we're going to be in good shape.
Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you for having us out to test it. Casey Casper is going to be here shortly. He's a huge two-stroke fan, so I know, and especially 125s he loves as well. So he's going to hop aboard this thing, spend some laps here at Cahuilla. Should be an awesome day. And yeah, after he's done, we'll talk to him, get some feedback, and get back to you guys here in a little bit. Stay tuned. so we just finished up spinning some laps on Jay's YZ125. Casey, you were the one who got to test this bike, and as we talked about earlier, you got to attend the intro for the stock version, of course. How was this thing overall, and how would you say it compares to stock?
It's always amazing riding a little bit of a build versus a stock bike. They get a little more crisp, they're a little more fun to ride. You can lug them a little more, even though you're still talking a 125, but it just doesn't punish you as much on the back end. The TMR work definitely perked it up. It uses a little bit of race gas now, if I'm not mistaken, and you can definitely feel it. It's still a 125, but it certainly wants to go a little more than stock.
Absolutely. And suspension-wise, factory connection obviously massaged the fork and shock. These suspension components, as most of us all know, are awesome. Yamaha does a great job. How would you say that compares to stock?
Stock is great. On the first test day, we were within a click or two, and here I didn't make any changes at all. Factory connection nailed it. It's very balanced. Stock is plush, but this is definitely a little more controllable when you start pushing, and as you'll see in the video, there were a few mistakes and bobbles and such, so it's definitely good to have it working for you there.
Absolutely. And then as far as just general chassis ergonomics stuff, I know you're a fan of the works connection, clutch perch, moto seat. Was there anything maybe that stood out to you as in that regard?
The pleats definitely help. On the 125s, you're hanging off the back all the time, so they keep you grounded when you do want to commit to those turns. But the pegs feel so good on this thing because obviously you're shifting 2 up, 2 down in almost every turn, and you can really move just like you're supposed to fundamentally. Off the balls of your feet, back to braking, to the balls of your feet. And then even the controls, the Works Connection Elite lever, super consistent. Gets a little hot if you're doing photos like we were, and you can just turn it forward, tighten her up. And then even the grips, ODIs, bars, everything's top notch as far as feel and fitment. Easy bike to hop on and go, especially considering the stock grips on a lot of the Japanese bikes aren't the best at the moment.
Absolutely, right on. Well, man, was there anything maybe I missed that I didn't ask you wanted to cover? Or?
Oh, this thing just looks beautiful as far as the carbon fiber that's on it. The side that we're looking at has the ignition cover, and it's just taking my attention. Even the scoop tire, I was a little nervous on a 125 for the scoop, but here at Cahuilla today, it worked great. You just go to the outsides, rail it, and the bike definitely pulls it, which was a surprise considering my preconceived notion. But overall, everything from the FMF pipe that got that nice blue to match the colors, it just turned out great.
All right, well that should wrap up an awesome day on this Fun 25. So thank you to Cahuilla Creek for having us. Thanks to Jay for having us out to test this awesome bike. And thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, head on over to dirtrider.com to read the full test, and we'll see you on the next one.